Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, Lettuce Head Fanfics. Back with amazing fanfiction. This is the series of What If Deku Had Spirit Form Quirk. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Izuku Midoriya Misfit of Truth. Midoriya had threatened like trash in his life because they thought he is quirkless, but the truth is Midoriya has a very powerful quirk he didn't like to show to others because they might if he gets of control due to its drawback. Quirk Spirit Form. His quirk allows him to change his form/appearance each transformation, only him to transform on their own habitat. Drawbacks: hunger. After each transformation, he will begin to devour any food on his sight until his stomach is satisfied. Rem Midoriya, engaged to Midoriya. Misfit of Loyalty. Rem's parents died because of a villain attack. Only Rem and her sister survived the attack after Izuku saved them and take them to safety. After that day, Rem, her sister, would always follow him wherever he goes and would follow his lead. Rem developed her for the Greenette at the age of 10, and Izuku admitted that he loves her and that he would do anything to find the villains that killed their parents. Quirk Demon. Rem would grow a horn in her forehead and greatly enhanced her body and would summon her morning star. Lunox Midoriya, engaged as well. The Balanced Misfit. Izuku saved her after she escaped her abusive parents. She gladly accepted Izuku's offer to live with him along with Rem and her sister. She confessed her feeling 2 days before the exam and Izuku accepted it with Rem's permission. Quirk Order and Chaos. Her quirk allows her to see the truth and lies whenever to talk to her. She can do one form each time she uses her quirk. She can't use both order and chaos at the same time. Power of Order allows her to use and manipulate at will and also allow her to heal herself every time she the power of order. Chaos of Darkness allows her to manipulate at her will, and the stronger the negative emotion of people around, the stronger her attack while using chaos in darkness. Katsuki Bakugo Misfit of Anger. Katsuki knows about truth and the reason why he doesn't use his quirk. Midoriya asks him to also bully him so that he can avoid to be discriminated. Bakugo wanted to refuse, but Midoriya pleaded him, so he agreed, but in exchange Midoriya would train his quirk with him. Quirk Explosion and OFA. Explosion. His quirk evolved upon receiving OFA. Now, he also release Explosion in his feet. Shoto Todoroki Misfit of Fun. Todoroki never had a normal childhood because of his father Endeavor. His father calls him a masterpiece and only paid attention to him when they're training. Todoroki became one of the misfits after the school festival and accepted his fire with the help of other misfits. Ojiro Kirishima Misfit of Trust. Since his quirk manifested, all of his friends turned their backs on him with the reason of having a weak quirk. This treatment kept repeating until he met Bakugo on their final day of elementary. Bakugo asked him if he had enough of this treatment and how they kept breaking your trust. He answered him with yes, and Bakugo told him to follow him because this would change everything to him. After he met Midoriya, he became the newest member. Misfits. Quirk Hardening. Can harden his body at will. Denki Kaminari Misfit of Love. Denki earned his title because how all of his lovers cheated on him. After his last breakup, Denki became depressed and planning to end his life by jumping in a building, but it was prevented by Midoriya. He helped him overcome his depression and offered to join the Misfits. He accepted it and met 02 in their hideout and didn't expect to fall in love again. Quirk Electrification. Allows him to generate electricity and cover his body in it. Kyoka Jiro Misfit of Confidence. Kyoka also never had a normal childhood because of her quirk. They bullied her for having a weird quirk and calling her freak. On their last day of elementary, a bunch of girls are waiting for her to beat her up when they're about to start their beating, but Rem managed to stop and save her. She activated her quirk to scare the girls and told them if you hurt her, ill crushed all of heads one by one. The girls run away, then Rem immediately check Jiro if she had injuries. She asked her if she tired of this kind of living and wanted it to stop. She said yes. The Rem told her to follow her because this would change everything. Yui Kodai Misfit of Emotions. Kodai were born with an emotionless face. She can't express her emotions, but she can feel them. Because of this, she's been bullied and calling her freak, but after Ram saved her with a bunch of thugs wanting to have fun with her, she offered her to join because this would change everything to her. She accepted it and became the cold princess of the Misfits. Ram Bakugo, engaged. Misfit of Manners. After being saved by Midoriya, Ram, along with her sister, pledged loyalty to him. Ram is very strict when it comes to manners. Every member of the Misfits are afraid of her except her twin sister. Because of her strong personality and confidence when she do her task, Bakugo fall in love in her, started dating her after the entrance exam. Quirk clairvoyance. It enables her to synchronize with the vision of those who have the same wavelength, allowing her to overlap her vision with another being. Drawback: although she is unable to defend herself while using it, it allows her to continuously switch between people. However, the side effect of the quirk causes her veins to become prominent, shed tears of blood from one eye, and legs to shake uncontrollably. 02. Misfit of life. 02 is the troublemaker of the group. She always plays prank on each member of the Misfits but always avoid getting Ram involved in her prank. She managed to join the Misfits after she found out about it. After stalking on Bakugo, she pestered Bakugo to let her join. Bakugo got irritated, told her to ask Midoriya. Midoriya accepted her with the condition record her every single one prank she do on Bakugo. She accepted it and became a member. Quirk Strelitzia allows her to summon an armor and control its height at will. Her lance could fire energy beam and blast upon contact. Forest form Midoriya allows him to navigate the forest and know its current state. Midoriya can reflect the damage that he receives from his enemies and could constrict them to prevent their movements. Mountain form, Summer. This form allows Midoriya to earth bend and grow around 80 feet and could be mistaken as a mountain if he sleeps in this form. Mountain form, Winter. Same attributes as his summer form. The difference is that he could summon a strong blizzard to conceal himself and to cover his tracks. Ocean/sea form Midoriya could control the currents of water and breathe underwater. City form. This form allows Midoriya to turn into a car with a max of 363.1 km per hour and could use electromagnetic waves for his shield. His armor and shield could withstand All Might at his prime. Swamp form. This allows Midoriya to split into smaller beings and stick to enemies to control them or capture them. This is the only form that could even exist outside its domain. Each of his forms has its own name because they're created from the memory of the domains where he first transformed into them. Forest form Belleric, Ocean form Nessie, Mountain form, Winter/Summer, Grok, City form Johnson, Swamp form Duel. Narrator POV. Another sunny morning as Class 1A is now sitting in their classroom waiting for their advisor. "Hey guys, have you seen Deku-kun?" Uraraka asked as she wondered where her crush was. "Oh, worried about your future husband, huh?" A certain Pinkette teased her. "Yes. I mean, who wouldn't?" she said as she realized what she had said. As they looked for the source of the sound, they saw Rem and Lunox with a broken mechanical pen in both of their hands. "Oh my dear sister, why did you break your pen all of a sudden?" Ram asked her sister even though she knew why. "Hey, Pomeranian, let me borrow one of your pens," Lunox asked the walking time bomb. Why would I let you borrow one of my pens?" he shouted, obviously irritated. But before she could say anything, Eraserhead entered the classroom with his famous grin under his capture gear. "Okay class, I have an announcement. Midoriya has been found out as a traitor and is giving UA files to the LOV, he said in his normal tone. "What?" they shouted. "He shall be expelled now," Ida shouted while chopping some vegetable. "Or better yet, we could beat him up before he gets transported to Tartarus," a perv grape suggested. "Yeah, he deserves it. I can't believe he could betray us," Ishido agreed. "He truly is useless. I can't believe I fell in love with a villain," Uraraka said with disgust. While the others were agreeing on this, Aizawa and the Misfits were grinning widely. So the plan had begun, Bakugo thought with a smug face. Yes, this would be fun, 02 thought while fighting the urge to laugh. So it is true, huh? Now I see why Misfit of Truth is his title, Shoto thought. Meanwhile within, so it is true, Midoriya, what you said about your class, he said while watching the camera attached to Aizawa. "I told you, Uncle Nizu, there's still a lot of traits they lack to be called heroes," Izuku said while looking at the monitor. "Welp, let's get this show started," Nizu said as he clapped his paws. "All right then," Izuku said while standing in his seat. "Good luck out there, young Midoriya," All Might said with a worried look at his successor's friend. "Don't worry, Im-sensei, we Misfits are already used to this," he said as he ran to his class for the show. Time skip 1A classroom door. As he entered the classroom, he was greeted by Ito with a kick, a punch by Sato, and an acid shot by Ishido. Then Uraraka made him float. Shiro used his tape to swing Midoriya around the room, then Uraraka deactivated her quirk, which caused Midoriya to collide with the floor with such great force. That's enough. All Might shouted with his booming voice. But they didn't listen. They were about to unleash another horde of attacks at Midoriya. Then suddenly, Kirishima stood in front of him and turned unbreakable. Bakugo, beside him, popped tiny explosions in his hands while Shoto activated both of his quirks, ready to attack at any moment. While the other misfits were holding their laughter. "What are you doing?" Ida shouted. "Protecting our leader," Kirishima answered. "What? So you're traitors too?" Uraraka shouted. "Quite the opposite, my dear students," Nizu said while popping out of Aizawa's capture gear. "What do you mean, opposite?" Ishido asked. "Because it's all part of the plan," Midoriya said while standing up. "What plan?" Mineta asked. "Well, to expose all of your true colors," Lunox continued. "What do you mean, traitors?" Uraraka said with disgust. "Haha, they look dumber than jamming way," Jiro said while laughing. "Haha, you're right." "Hey darling, say the line please," 02 asked Denki with pleading eyes. "Ahem, why, he said while pretending like he fried his brain again. The misfits burst out in laughter, even Todoroki was laughing. "The others look dumber right now, but you managed to become the dumbest dunce face," Bakugo said while rolling and laughing on the floor. "Tell me about it," Shoto said while also laughing on the floor like Bakugo. "What's so funny now, you traitors?" Momo asked them while they were still laughing. "I can explain," Nizu said. "Izuku here found out that you're talking behind his back without knowing that they were listening to you all with the help of Ms. Jiro here," he continued. "Lies. We never talk behind someone's back." "I object," Shoji said while raising his hand along with Koda and Tokoyami. "Oh really?" "Lunox, help me here," Ram said. "Did you all forget Lunox's quirk?" she continued. "Let's shake your memory," Lunox said. As she used the power of order, a small orb of light appeared in her hands. "You can't hide it and you can't lie to the misfit of truth," Midoriya said. Flashback. Midoriya was going back to his dorm room when suddenly he heard his class talking ill about him. "Can't we all just agree that Midoriya is the reason why villains are still attacking us?" Uraraka said. "Yeah, that's true. He also thought that you're in love with him, Uraraka," Ishido said. "As if I'll love that useless excuse of a human," Uraraka replied. "I agree with you. Since the day they attacked us at USJ and announced that they wanted him, they keep attacking us continuously," Mineta said. "I must agree, he is also the reason why my brother can't do his hero work now," Ida said. While they kept talking behind his back, Midoriya thought of a crazy plan to expose their true colors. "Oh, this would be fun," Midoriya thought. Flashback and now, for the punishment for what you have done, the new class here will start training you all as well as Class 1B, Nizu said as he knocked on the board, then turned into a transparent class with 1B watching them the whole time. "Principal Nizu, sir, what do you mean new class?" Vlad asked. "Oh, that would be us, Vlad-sensei," Kodai said, surprising everyone. Then she stood up and exited the room along with the other misfits. "Ahem, we would like to introduce again," Ram said. "We are the new class that Uncle Nizu is speaking of," Bakugo said. "We are the misfits. Nice to meet you all," they all said in unison. Narrator's POV. "What is the meaning of this Yui explanation please, Tokich?" "As I said, they are the new class and they will train you," Nizu said. "And also the training you all would do will be different than last time. It would be like the training camp, but with the help of my nephew's quirk you will be trained in different sites," he continued. "What kind of sites? Why Bakugo called you uncle instead of principal, and if he's your nephew how would his explosion help us for the training, Principal Nizu sir?" "I could him uncle because he is our uncle and I'm not the one who will train you, Izuku is," Bakugo told him. "What, how would a useless freak will help us train our quirk?" Uraraka asked in pure rage. "Welp, you will soon find out now before you all go back to your dorms. Misfits, introduce yourselves along with your title in your group," Nizu said in glee. "Oh, I'll go first. My name is 02, I don't do last names, you all know that, and I'm the misfit of life," she said excitedly. "Ojiro Kirishima and I'm the misfit of trust." Denki Kaminari and I'm the misfit of love. Kyokujiro and I'm the misfit of confidence. Shoto Todoroki third in command and I'm the misfit of fun. Katsuki Bakugo and I'm the misfit of anger second in command. You better remember that he shouted as he set off explosions in both of his hands. Smack. What did I tell you about using your quirk beside me as she hit Bakugo in the head because he accidentally hit her and now her face is covered in soot. I'm sorry, I won't happen again as he drops on all fours while asking for forgiveness. Stay like that, I'm going to sit on your back as she sits his back. I'm sorry about that, my name is Ram Bakugo, I'm engaged to this Pomeranian and I'm the misfit of manners. I'm also going to de-escalate your attitude while we train you. Yui Kodai misfit of emotion. Rem Midoriya misfit of loyalty and head maid of our hideout. Lunox Midoriya the balanced misfit, both me and Rem are engaged to Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya the misfit of truth and also the leader of the misfits. Now that's over, go back to your dorms and pack your things. Your parents have already been informed about this, so don't worry, and also wear your hero suit, everyone, Nizu said while clapping his paws. As everyone returned to their dorms to pack their things, Nizu hugged his nephew and nieces and told them to wait for their classmates. Time skip. Everyone is now waiting for trainers and their teacher while wearing their hero suit. Ugh, why does it have to be them, and also the useless trash, their leader I guess pretty weak at all, Uraraka thought. Are everyone here now? Nizu asked as he looks at everyone. Okay, now let's go take where you all will rest after your training, he continued. But where are the buses and where would we train exactly? Nairenjiki Shota asked. The buses, we won't be needing any buses and we would be training in America. Then we will be there without any buses, Reiko asked. With my help, a woman told them. My name is Luo E. My quirk allows me to teleport anyone anywhere I want, including myself, as long as I've been there before, she explained. Now huddled up everyone and make sure you're inside the circle while I teleport all of us, she continued. A circle with yin yang symbol. They are now in awe. After 3 seconds they are now in the middle of nowhere. Then suddenly they heard a voice and asked them. What took you so long? Bakugo asked them and were surprised of what they saw. What first time seeing a house, he asked. But a house underneath the mountain, yes. Some of them shouted. Hey Ram, they're here, he shouted. Then Ram and Ram came out of the house in their maid uniform. Just leave your bags and Ram will take you where your training will begin, Rem. And why should we trust you? Uraraka retorted. Because it says so. Now go follow my niece or there will be punishment, Nizu said with anger in his last sentence. Because of this, the students give her their bags, even though some in 1A doesn't, but who they are to disagree with the principal. Ram lead to the mountains until they a stone pillar with a bluish crystal on top. Some students wants to know if someone owns, some wants how its value. This piqued the interest of some students. They're about to ask but suddenly Ram spoke. Your opponent is him, as she pointed to a castle that looks like a ruin. If this is some kind of joke, it's not funny. We are heroes in training. Unlike you traitors, we do heroic stuff that you wouldn't understand because you so-called misfits are villains, Ida told her with a smug face. Hey Midoriya, here they are, make sure you beat them to pulp or else I would do it to you. She shouted with visible anger. All of the sudden the mountain rises. The student were terrified but didn't show it. They took a battle stance. Then suddenly the stone pillar hit half of the students. Some were unconscious, but when they look where it comes from they saw an 80 feet golem with Ram standing on the top of its head. Then something tells them they messed up. Now your training with the misfits starts now, Ram shouted. Aizawa, I bet you $100 Midoriya will bring them here all unconscious, Nizu. 150, not all of them, Aizawa. Aizu while sipping his tea. Ram POV. Your training with the misfits begin now, I shouted at them. Training? This is torture, you pink anvil. The midget shouted back at me. All right then Midoriya, crush him first, I said while pointing to the midget. Run back to house, we would be safe there, Mr. President shouted. Midoriya, guardian barrier. I shouted while raises his weapon and slammed the bottom of it on the ground. After that a shockwave traveled to the ground and out of nowhere a rock wall appeared out of shockwave blocking their path. Setsune, use your quirk to ask for help from the heroes, that way we might win this, Nito told them. But this is a training too, you think they would help us? They even allowed the traitors to stay here, Mineta. Training or not, it's better to seek help for those with experience. We're fighting an 80 feet golem that could possibly control the ground. Setsuna is the only one that could fly here right now, since Boom Boom Sparky Boy is also a misfit, too, not to mention misfit of anger. Heck, I don't know what he means by that, but my gut tells me I don't want to know. Nito explained. Everyone was now surprised at how calm he is during the training and managed to think of a plan, let alone scared of Bakugo. Hey, who are you? What have you done to Copy Boy, Ishido? This no time to joke. 1A scum. Setsuna, run now, will distract the golem. In the meantime, hurry, he instructed. Wow, Copy Boy, you're getting better now with your ego, keep it up. Who knows when we might need a new member, I told to them. With all due respect, this is no time talk about that now. Everyone distract the golem until help arrives. He then copies Juzo softening and tries to soften the golem's ground to make it collapsed on one of its foot along with Juzo on the other foot. Midoriya POV. Trying to make me collapsed? Good plan, Nito, but you gotta do better than that. Power of nature, I shouted with my guardian voice. The crystal in my stone pillar glowed and I temporarily grow to 85 feet, that are my max height. When I got free my feet in the softened ground, I swing my weapon, creating wind pressure blowing off the tiny flies that's been pestering me. Midoriya Setsuna managed to escape, Ram informed me. I just nodded her, then I began moving to follow Setsuna back to our house while the flies still trying their best to stop me. Setsuna's POV. Come on, faster, I need to call for help, I thought while trying to make myself faster as much as possible. Shoto's POV. Midoriya had begun moving now right towards us. I guess someone manages to escape to call for help, I informed the others. First day, but already using one of your most troublesome form. I guess the next few days will be more exciting, I thought while remembering my winter training with Kyo. Alright now, misfits, put your hero suits, we don't want Ram to be angry at us, Lunox told us while we rushed to wear our suit, not wanting to get in Ram's bad side. Alright then, everyone hop on my back, I'll get us there faster, as she jumps in the window transformer into her 50% form. I call shotgun as Denki jump out of the window while the rest of us follows his lead. Alright, next stop the walking mountain, Bakugo shouted as 02 started running, passing by Setsuna. Ram POV. While trying to find Setsuna with my quirk, I spotted 02 in her 50% form running towards us. Midoriya, heads up, they're here now, I said as he nods, meaning he understood who I mean. Narrator's POV. 02 tackled Izuku, causing him to be pushed back a few meters while Bakugo began to fly around him, trying to find a weak spot to defeat him while 02 keeps him busy and while others rescued the trainees and trying to take them to safety. 02 keep tackling Izuku to keep him at bay and to buy time for Bakugo. Ram is about to attack him with her Morning Star, but Rem prevented it and begun clashing their weapon. Meanwhile, with Bakugo, he saw a small opening starting to form in Izuku mountain form and instructed 02 to shoot her beam at Izuku's chest. Hey, shoot your beam at his chest, it will create an opening for me to knock him out, he told her. This is a one-shot opportunity, you better not waste it, she answered back. Then she began charging her beam at her tail while Katsuki lowered his torso with a rock and roll sign in both of his hands. 02 take the shot while Katsuki began rushing with the help of his quirk. He manages to get inside and using both of his hands and feet, he sets off an explosion causing him to be pushed out of Midoriya while knocking Midoriya out and deactivating his quirk. The golem now disappears out of thin air, leaving only a falling Midoriya and a giant robot. Nizu's POV. I guess the training is over, let's go greet the students. I have a feeling that they want an explanation about my nephew's quirk, I said to Aizawa. Yeah, I guess so, he responded. Ring ring ring. Let me answer this call first. Hello Nighteye, what's the matter? AFO and his league are on the move, Nighteye. And I'm afraid that this one we might not able to win this. I guess it's time to commence the plan B, I said. Okay then I'll tell it to them, Night. Please do, I will tell it to them now, Nizu. Thumbs up. Ha ha ha, I hope my students will be ready when the time comes. I said we wait to the front door for them. Misfits POV. Sheesh, I didn't expect them to be that weak, Ram. But with Monoma's instruction they managed to do the true goal of this training, to say that at least Lunox. I guess a new member or two wouldn't hurt, Denki. How about Setsuna? She also did great in this training, and also when I saw her earlier she really trusted and follows Monoma's plan, which is a good thing for me in my opinion. Kirishima. But we better go back now and prepare some food for the nerd. He will be a pain in the butt if he wakes up with no food for his drawback. Bakugo. Yeah, we better go back now so that prepare his food before wakes up Rem. Tis okay, now you extras go back now so that you can rest because your next training would be in Mount Everest and Malfoy you can take my seat at the bot, me and Icy Hot will lead the others, Bakugo shouted. Oh wow, is Boom Boom Sparky worried about me? How thoughtful, Monoma. No, he doesn't, you only allowed to take his seat because you're the reason why you completed the training, right, Ram? The main goal for this training is to seek help and provide assistance. What you said earlier is true training or not. It's better to seek help for heroes with experience since you're all only heroes in training, she continued. Oh, and also like I said earlier, we don't know when we might need a new member, she added. Alright everyone, let's get going now so that you can rest for the day, Kyoka. What the hell is his quirk? I thought his was a slime quirk. How did he manage to become an 80 feet golem Uraraka? I thought we were friends. Why did he hide his quirk from us? Now I'm certain that he is a traitor, Ida. Meanwhile, Nighteye's POV. Mirio, can you do me a favor? Yes sir, what it is? Mirio. Call your friends, we need to go to America right now, Nighteye. Nizu and his niece and nephews will help you train your quirk better, Nighteye. Okay, I can do that, but why though, sir? Yes, me. I will explain it you and the rest once we get there, I answered him. All right then, sir, he calls his friends with his phone. Skip. Mirio's POV. Sir, they are here, I told him, still confused why he wanted them here. Great, now let's go at the rooftop, our guide is waiting there, he told us. Hey Mirio, where are we going? Nijire asked me. Sir, told we're going to America to train our quirk, I answered her. But she asks again. I don't know, but it seems something serious, I answered her again. There she is, Night. Hi, what's your name? What is your quirk? Are you a hero? If so, what's your hero name? Nijire. You're quite a lively one, Nijire. Hado. My name is Luo E. My quirk allows me to transport people to anywhere I longing as long I been in that place before. No, I am not a hero, she told her and answering her questions. You can do that someday, Nijire, but for now we need to hurry, time is running out, Nighteye. Oh, sorry about that, Nijire. It's quite alright, but for now we need to get going now, Luo E. Stay inside the circle please while I transport all of you, she continued. She then activated her quirk and a yin-yang-like circle appeared below us. We were in awe, then all of the sudden our surrounding changed. We look around and saw a giant lion-like looking at us, the robot, then it lowered its head. We immediately took a battle stance, then Sir tap in the shoulder and look at me with a smile and told us to stand down. Oi, where is Nizu? My idiot student, Sir said to the robot, but with a smile. Hey sensei. A short blue-haired girl shouted. Which one? A guy with black hair and lighting asked. What do you mean by, which one? Did you permanently fried your brain for good? A girl with purple hair and earlobes. The robot disappeared, causing its passenger to fall down but landed on their feet while a guy with red hair was carrying a green teen that looks like unconscious. Is he alright? While pointing to the green-haired teen. Yes, he's alright, don't worry about him, he may not look like it, but our leader is the manliest man here, the red-haired answered. I was about to ask another question, but then I saw another group of students that seem had a bad day. Oh sensei, what are you doing here? The ash-blonde teen asked. What is the matter, sensei, and why do you want to talk to Nizu? You only do that when the traffic lights did something stupid, or about when the Pomeranian I'm engaged with break another bone of his, or not? A short pink-haired girl asked, sir. Or unless about him? A girl with short black-haired girl asked. Yes, it is about him, sir answered her. Narrator's POV. All of the sudden the air around them became all of the students were confused. Who are they talking? Then they saw Katsuki Jiro, Denki 02 Kurishima Linux, Rem and Ram. Their face are now covered by their hair while tears falling down to their eyes, but what surprised them were that fact that they could feel their bloodlust killing intent, anger and sadness. Some students back away while the others decide not to move due of their fear to them. What's about him? Midoriya woke up from his sleep, then suddenly asks Nighteye. He's back and now on the move as we speak. Now the pressure around them become heavier, causing all of the students to fall down on their knees. Even the big three are on their knees. All for one. Once I find you, I will blast you to Kingdom Come Katsuki. Once we find you, we will give no mercy, Linux. Once I find you, I'll torture again and again like what you did, Hero and Mean 02. We'll make sure the village sacrifice for you will not be in vain. All FO1 Ram and Ram. I will never forgive you for what you did 202 Jdenki. As they all shouted while releasing their bloodlust. I will kill you all for one and make regret for letting me live. I'll make sure you'll regret it for leaving the last Midoriya to hunt you down. Nighteye's POV. Now calm down, we need to plan this perfectly or one wrong move it will be our faults night. And also I know that all of you were wondering who are we talking about and about Midoriya's quirk. We'll tell you about his quirk once we get back, he continued. Go back now Bakugo. Time skip. Inside of the house. Nizu's POV. Now my dear students, what would you like to hear first? I asked them while some were eating the food prepared by Ram and Rem. Oh, how about the green guy quirk? Nijai. Okay, then his quirk is called Spirit Form. It allows him to change his form/appearance each transformation, only him to transform on their own habitat/domain like what you saw today. Each of his forms was born from the memories on the place where he transforms into them first, and each form has its own name. Hold them. May I know the name of the golem we fought earlier, Principal Nizu, sir? Yaoyorozu. His name is Grok the Fortress Titan Nizu. Wait. You mean the monster that once appeared in the pre-Quirk era and one of the strongest monster that once said protected Earth from mass destruction before Ibra? Yes, Ms. Shiozaki, he is the one I'm talking about, Nizu. Wow, I never thought that the old stories were true, Shiozaki. What stories? Nijai. Long time ago before quirks appeared to this world there were monsters that once roam into the earth. They were called guardians by the people who saw and saved by them. Each of this monster has its own domain and protect it with its life. Because of this some people started hunting them, but every time they entered their domain they never comes out, so they forced them, Shoizaki. Curious Momo asked. They started destroying their domain, she answered. All of the students listening to her story were surprised by her answer. What? Setsuna. First, they started bombing the mountains to force the Fortress Titan to come out home. Second, they throw trash at the sea to force the guardian protecting it to also come. And the third and last no attempt, they started a massive wildfire, but this time not to capture it but to kill it. But all of the attempts failed miserably because everyone who destroyed their domain were killed by the guardians, Shoizaki. If there were protecting people, why would they kill the humans, Ida? You truly are dumb, Four Eyes Bakugo. What makes you say that, hot traitor Ida? Because everyone in that situation would be forced to kill to protect what's truly important to them, Bakugo. Now shut up, I want to hear the story about his form, he continued. Where was I? Oh yeah, then quirks appear to this world. The guardians still continued to be hunted by the people who has a quirk, but again they all failed. But a certain man claimed that he killed them. After a few years that man were killed by a man who can steal quirks, but the who claimed he killed the guardians said something before he died, but only the last part of what he said were heard. It was she's about to continue but was cut off by Bakugo saying, the ninth successor of his power will be the end of you along with the misfits, all for one, Bakugo. That's his final words, right, Garden Head, he asks her. Yes, that's why I'm surprised when Principal Nizu told us the name of that golem, now wondering what is the meaning of what that man said, Shoizaki. That man, all for one, is a villain since the first era of quirk appearance. He is the symbol of evil and also the man that we're talking about, Nighteye. What? But that's impossible since the first appearance of quirk were like, I don't know, 200 years ago, Ishido. Why were you surprised, Mina? Ishido Nizu. Of course, I would be living that long is impossible, Ishido. And also knowing the truth about you and your friend would not be impossible, Ms. Ishido Nizu. Because of this, Ishido and 3 others stiffened knowing they were caught. Oh right, I forgot to tell you all, we found out the true traitors of the academy, Nizu, as he takes a sip at his tea. What's the meaning of this, Ishido? Uraraka. Whoa, at Uraraka, wait, I promise I wasn't followed that day, Ishido. Ha ha ha, you just sell out your own partner, Denki. Hee, you truly are foolish, Ram. Teach this all your fault, Mina. Uraraka. As the two of lean at each other back while Bakugo Ramizawa is keeping them in the line of their sight while the other misfits were waiting to engage to capture them. Oi, stupid rat, how did you know, Uraraka? Oh, it's easy, I told Aizawa to keep an eye on you for, and also you're all easy to be fooled, Nizu. Do you know why I didn't tell you the exact place where we would train? Because I know my Netta here would tell where we're going to train, so I give you fake info of our whereabouts, he continues, shocking the 4 traitors about this. We're all still in Japan. I also lied to Nighteye here to make sure everything is perfectly going as planned, and here we are also. Mr. Sato, sending a distress signal would be pointless. Mr. Kaminari right now are jamming the signals of your devices, Nizu. Kurojiri, get me out of here, Uraraka. Then suddenly a warp appeared below her, causing her to succeed at her escape. Well, looks like you three have been betrayed Nizu. They were about to run but Aizawa restrained Ishido and Mineta with his capture gear and was knocked out by Kaminari. We'll lock them up below, you don't have to worry about them escaping, we have some guardians that would be guarding them Midoriya. And also the big three here would be joining us from now on but for eat and rest, and I know you all want to know what that man final words means, so tomorrow I have someone who could explain it to you all. Now eat your dinner and take a rest, we will explain the final words and train your quirk and body for your next mission. They all agreed to this. Rem and Ram lead the students to the dining room while Nizu, Aizawa, Nighteye, and the other misfits bring the three idiots to their prison cell. They were greeted by the three guardians Midoriya mentioned earlier. Kufra Desert Tyrant, Uranus Ancient Soul, Minotaur Bursting Yama. Oi, we have company Mino. The other guardians woke up from their sleep, greeted them. Greetings young Mstr Uranus. What we can do for you young man? Mino. These were the traitors I told you. The other managed to escape Midoriya while pointing to the three. Ah, let me guess, the other betrayed them Kufra. Yeah, they got tricked by round-faced Bakugo. Let us handle them young Mstr Uranus. You can trust us to them till you manage to kill that man Kufra. Yeah, I know I can trust you guys Midoriya. But young man, be careful about him, even the Ancient One wasn't able to kill him Mino. Yeah, but it will all change now because the prophecy had begun Midoriya. We better rest now, you still have a lot to explain tomorrow. Alright Sensei then handed the traitors to the guardians. They're about to leave but Mineta suddenly spoke and said, you cannot defeat him, you all will die and is going to kill you all. Ha 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 Mineta. Ha, you truly are foolish mortal, your fate had been set to the stone a long time ago and now it will come to an end Kufra. Then they began leaving while the three were screaming that they will all die. All for one, your end is near Midoriya. Midoriya's POV. I woke up earlier than the rest to do some test about my since Lu E told me it's not just some normal transformation quirk. What does she mean by that? Then I headed back to the mountain where the first training takes place. She said I need to talk to the generation of this quirk, but how can I talk to them when they were all dead? Midoriya. Well, why not try doing some meditation, kid, a mysterious man told me. I look around my surrounding and saw him, one of the guardians who didn't die. Oh hey Valor, looking right there, I told him as I saw him leaning his back at a tree. You brat, I'm always hot, literally Valor. As I said earlier, try to do some meditation that might help Valor. Okay, but why are you here? Midoriya. I wanted to be here, is there a problem about that? Valor. Oh none I guess Midoriya. Good, I'm going to eat at your house, I want to eat some true spicy food and your resident Pomeranian knows his stuff, so see ya later Valor. Okay, now what am I doing here? Oh yeah. My quirk meditation, but will it work? There's no harm to try, right? Okay, then I'll do it. Midoriya. Midoriya then sits on the ground trying to meditate and calm his mind. After a few minutes, nothing happened. He's about to try another method, but all of a sudden he was knocked out. That should do it. Now time, get that spicy food. Valor neck chopped Midoriya to make him unconscious, then walks away, leaving him lying on the ground. Inside Midoriya's mindscape. I woke up in a strange place. I look around and saw a lot of books and shelves. I continue to look around and I saw a small round table with a globe on it. I was about to touch it but someone shouts at me. Hey, don't touch that. I heard him yell. I looked for the source of the voice and saw a young man that wore a steampunk-like outfit and wears one-eyed glasses teleport right in front of me. Who are you and what are you doing here? He asked me. Izuka Midoriya, and I don't know why I'm here. All I remember is that I was testing some things about my quirk but I was knocked out, and when I woke I'm here, I told him. His eyes widen and smile widely, then suddenly shouts at someone. Alice, he's here, call the others right now, he shouted. Oh, by the way, name's Harley, my lord. He bowed to me. I was about to ask him what does he mean, but I saw a blood-red orb coming right towards us. I was about to activate my quirk, but suddenly a woman appeared from it and, smacked, she hit Harley really good in the head and seemed not knowing my presence. You brat, you know I'm older and your teacher, and who do you that he's here, she asked him. I'm talking about him, teach, Harley answered her while pointing at me. Oh, my young Mstr truly has arrived, quickly you brat, call the other, even them, this is important, hurry. She ordered him. Hi Sensei then disappeared, leaving his hat behind. Greetings young Mst, are sorry about that, my name is Alice and welcome to the Land of Dawn, she greeted. Land of Dawn, where is it exactly? I asked her. Here, come take a look, she told as she took one of her scrolls and shows it to me, and it was a map. I look at the map and saw 7 domains in it. My lord, I have arrived along with some company. Harley. I looked at him and tears came falling out of my eyes as I saw 2 faces that I never would see again. Izuka, my baby boy, is that? My mom asked, but I just ran to her and hugged her tight. My boy, so you finally made it, huh? Dad told me as he smiles at the sight. Me and Mom hugged, but Dad tapped our shoulder rapidly. Honey, I know we're dead, but I still need air to breathe. We released him from the hug while he is gasping for some air. Mom, Dad, I thought you were dead, and where were we? Midoriya. Yes, we died, but our soul transferred here in the land of dawn, and now I know why. Inko. And that is to guide you to use your quirk. Your quirk only just allows you to transform but also summon them. Hisashi. What do you mean? I don't understand. Midoriya. You have the same quirk as the ancient one, a tall elf-looking man told me. Tell me more please, Midoriya. If you want to know more, ask my old friend Grok, but for now that's all we can tell you, he told me. Why is that, sir? I asked him. He pointed at my lower half and I saw it disappearing. You're starting to wake, my lord, but don't worry, you will still see your parents because the land of dawn only exists in your mindscape, he told me. Oh, also when you call him, yell this, I your Ancestor command you to show your presence to us, the Titan Fortress. Grok. I just nod at him while my parents look at me with huge smiles on their faces and told that they were proud of me and will always love me. Then I woke. I was lying on the ground and immediately returned to the house and were greeted by my classmates waiting for me. They wanted to apologize. I accepted it, even Ida, because I know they all said that to me. What, that easily? We literally turn our backs on you, Toru. Well, believe it or not, you all were affected by a quirk, Midoriya. What kind of quirk, Karo? See you. Uraraka also has a quirk that can change people's beliefs if you talk to her, and it was given by All For One, I told them, surprising all of them. Ida had been affected the most by this quirk because of your frustration about your brother, so I blame you, I told him while he looked down in shame, saying he is a pathetic excuse of a friend, hero, and especially a brother. No, you're not, and don't you even think about dropping off in the hero course. I expect more from you, my friend. He looked at me surprised when I called him a friend and knowing that I have high expectations about him. Now I want you all to call everyone outside. I have someone to explain it to you all. What does those words mean? They just nodded and started calling everyone. All right, everyone, before we start we'll just have to wait for All Might. Once I finished saying that, All Might suddenly appeared. Okay, now that we're completed, All Might, you can start first, Midoriya. All Might suddenly debuffed, surprising everyone, and then when they all calm down he starts to explain the history of One for All. And I'm the 9th successor, Bakugo stated as electricity danced around him. Now for my explanation. I turned around and put my hand on the ground, confusing everyone. I your Emperor command you to show your presence to us, the Titan Fortress. Grok. I yelled. At first nothing happened. Bakugo looked at me like I'm crazy. So you finally talked to him, Kid Valor? He popped out of nowhere, surprising everyone while some of the girls blushed at him. They were about to ask his name, then suddenly the ground started to shake and stomps could be heard. Grok is here, as he showed himself to us. Young Imsti, or I suppose you want to know the truth behind his final words, Grok. As I looked at the 80 feet golem and nodded while trying to hide my excitement and simply asked him. But first, what is his name? Midoriya. The Ancient One. Grok. All right, then you may start now. The first time Quirk appeared to this earth, humans always try to capture us, but they all saw it was useless, so they planned on killing us, but the Ancient One saved us. He locks us in his mindscape and let us live peacefully, but some guardians refuse to it and still continue to roam in this very world like him. He points at Valor while Valor just simply replied him with a hello there. And the Yin-Yang Mage Lu Yi and many more. Our goal is to protect this earth, but you humans are always afraid of what you don't know and always think everything can only be solved through violence, he told calmly while Ibra apologized to him. It's not your fault, young miss, he told her. But he saved many of us, including me and my brothers and a lot more guardians from that villain. That villain wanted us to serve him. If we refused he would kill us, and one of the guardians refused. We were about to leave, but suddenly he used his quirk against her, piercing his hands to her heart, successfully killing her. We were surprised by this, so we ran and hid from him. Not long after, the Ancient One found us and saved us, but that villain found him too. He fought him while giving the other guardians an opportunity to escape. He protected us, but in exchange for his own life. And you, young Imsar, were his last descendant. You have the same quirk as he that we guardians sealed or not will serve as long as we live, he finished. After that not a single word was spoken. Then suddenly Hato asked me, "How did you do that?" Hato: "It's one of my capabilities. My quirk allows me to summon them." And one last question, Grok, how many guardians are out there to be exact? Midoriya: 110 as I remember, but there are still more out there. Some are just not yet born, Grok. Thanks, you may return and rest, and thank you for protecting me all this time, Midoriya. No problem, young Mr. Grok. Hey, tell Teach I said hi, Valor. Will do, my old friend Grok. Then he disappeared and turned into a bluish orb and entered inside me. Whoa, that's so cool. Hey Valor, do you all know the Guardians? Midoriya: Why yes. Then he handed me one of his books. Here is the list of every Guardian that I met, all 110 of them, Valor. Thanks, now let test something, Midoriya. Midoriya analyzed the book quickly and put his hands on the ground and yelled, "I, your Emsar, command you all to come out from the seal my ancestor put to you, Midoriya." Then out of nowhere a sixth flash of light appeared, then suddenly disappeared. A lot of were confused, but they saw 6 people were coming out of the woods. Brody, Selena, Sylvana, Pistis. They all bowed to Midoriya and told him, "Young Emsar, we have arrived." Selena's POV. Finally, for so long of being sealed, I wonder if I can finally see her again. Yo, Selena, let me guess you're wondering about your sister again? Brody asked me. Yeah, it's been almost 200 years since the day he saved, and not seeing her. Selena. Don't, Selena, I know you can see her again, Cho told me. Yeah, I have a feeling that I will see her, but for now, the young MSTU are called. We better make a good impression on him, Selena. Yo, Estes, where is he? Just straight ahead of us, Estes. Well, we better go now. The other Guardians are coming too, and I can sense Fireboy are with us now, Sylvana. Then we started walking. As we see the end of the forest, we saw the young Emsar along with some people, and I believe all of them have a quirk, something like that, and the arrogant Fireboy trying to make himself a flaming skateboard, and I bet Cho will going to show off to him. We receive MSDR's task for us. As we reached in front of him, all of us dropped down on one knee and bowed our heads and greeted him. Young MD, we have arrived, all of us greeted him. Midoriya POV. Okay guys, you don't have to do that, stand up please, Midoriya. Young Emsar, what we could do to you, Sylvana. I want you all to help me train my friends, Midoriya. We will, young are, but we have to do it in our way, if that's alright to you? I'm fine with it, Midoriya. And of course, you and your friends will have to join, a man said while chilling on a tree. And young MC, you're not allowed to transform into Grok and Beleric because those two were impossible to defeat, and also the giant robots were not allowed. A girl with tail of a tiger said behind of the tree. What are you doing here? Val. To collect your department from me, you sly brat. A old man wearing a bartender uniform and holding 2 giant dartboards. Calm down, Basha, you can deal with later. We need to talk to the young Mr. Nowling. I'm sorry about that, young he told to me while bowing down on one knee. Don't worry, I told him, but I was cut. As he throws one of his dartboard to Valor. Don't you even try to run away from. You got a lot to pay up in my tavern, Valor Basha. Young MST, can we start the training now? Tigreal. Oh yeah, sure, but what kind of training we would do? Midoriya. It's simple, you will all defeat us, and if we have captured one, he or she is out, Selena. And there are a few more Guardians that are hiding in this forest, so you better watch out, Savannah. We will give you 3 minutes to construct a plan to defeat us, and we will point out your weaknesses and of course train you with it, Cho. So good luck and try to survive, Selena. After that, flash of light appeared above them, and they disappeared along with it. I guess we should split up into teams, Shoto. Yeah, we would split into 5-person or more on each team, but knowing them on what I read, Selena can leave some wards that can help her teammates to detect the enemies and change her form. She's also good on long-range to short-range strategy presence. Cho knows martial arts and called it the way of the dragon, while Brody uses his right arm to shoot out arrow-like projectile, and in every attack he does, the stronger it gets, and all of them have a stunning ability, Midoriya. What do you mean by that ability, nerd? Bakugo. From what I learned in that book, a stunning ability means a skill that allows them to prevent the enemy to do anything for a short period of time, while knockback means, to put it simply, it allows them to knock back the enemy a few distances while airborne. It is the same in stunning abilities, but you will put in the air while immobilize. It will only prevent you from moving but not attacking, Midoriya. So what will be the teaming Mirio? Alright, huddle up everybody Midoriya. There are some things that you need to know about them. They are classified into 6 categories: marksman, assassin, mage, fighter, tank, and lastly, support. These categories help to balance their teamwork. The Guardians always fight in a team of 5, so you need to be careful when you encountered them Midoriya. Then what would be the teaming Midoriya? Shoto. There's 39 of us in here and we don't know the exact number of Guardians out there, Yayarozu. You and 02 aren't allowed to use both of your gigantic forms, so how we will be able to beat them, Denki? Oi nerd, I got a plan, Bakugo. As Bakugo said his to the rest, it surprised a few of them while Midoriya just smirked at his friend's suggestion. That will do, ok. Everyone, some of us with the front lines while the rest us with the backup. We would be divided into 4 groups of 5 and this would be the teams: Midoriya, Kirishima/tank, Rin/marksman, Kuwaro/assassin, Bondo/support, and Bakugo/fighter. Midoriya, Ojiro/fighter, Tsunatori/marksman, Shishida/tank, Kamakiri/assassin, and Kodai/support. Bakugo, Tokoyami/assassin, Kendo/fighter, Tetsutetsu/tank, Shizuki/support, and Yayarozu/marksman. Midoriya, Monoma/support, Kaibara/fighter, Shota/marksman, Todoroki/mage, and Ram/assassin. Bakugo. That would be the teaming while the rest of us would be the backup, and Setsuna, Jiro, Koda, Siro, Froppy, and Ida. You will follow my lead. We're going to some of the Guardians in the forest, and with us roaming the forest we might back up the front lines even faster. Midoriya. Ojiro's team, you would be assigned at the northern part of the forest, Bakugo at the east, Kendo at south, and Todoroki at west. Midoriya. This might be a test, but let's give it our all, my fellow classmates. Ida. Yeah, you all better be, but you all will never surpass me. Bakugo. Let's give it our all and plus. Midoriya. Ultra. Everyone joined him. Narrator's POV. Shoto's team were now running to the western part of the forest, trying to locate their enemy. How we will find them in this forest? We don't even have a clue about their location, Kaibara. I can locate them, you know, Ram. But so far I can't still see them nor feel their presence, she continued. Then I think it is wise to construct a plan first, Shota. I agree, Monoma. Okay, then let's stop here for a while. Ram, be on guard. We don't want any unexpected guest right now, Shoto. Way ahead of you, Ram. Now what's the plan, Kaibara? As they construct their plan, they didn't notice that there is someone listening to them hiding among the shadow of the trees. Haha, well that sounds useful, Dash. Small time skip. That might work, Monoma. Okay, then we Shoto. There is a guardian coming right straight ahead of us, Ram shouted. Shoto and his team were now in their battle stance, waiting for the guardian to approach them, but suddenly their vision turned black and they could only hear that. There's someone running towards them and saying, "Ha ha, tremble, Dash?" Shoto said as tries to locate his teammates. Then suddenly his vision came back. He looks at his teammates. He saw Shota on the ground holding on his stomach. Monoma is on his knees breathing heavily and Kaibara is nowhere to be seen. Then he noticed there is a hole where Kaibara were standing. Before their vision turned black, only him and Ram were the only ones left standing. Then out of nowhere a creature appeared in front of Shoto, trying to strike him with the blade around his arm, but lucky Ram saved him by hitting the creature with her morning star, causing it to collide to a tree. Before they could take a good look at it and analyze the creature, it disappeared and leaving only a small traces of smoke. But before they could recover, a man with weird-looking metal ball appeared above them and slamming it to the ground. TCH, you have quick reflexes, Dash? Who are you? Shoto. I'm Fovius. Now tremble in my presence, and he raises his, and an image of eye appeared below Shoto and Ram. Once the eye closed, they collide to each other like a magnet. Then Fovius appeared above them again. They could not react immediately. Shoto blocked the attack using his body to protect. Fovius had smug look on his face while Ram looked surprised at Shoto's sudden action. Now Shoto were now throwing small pebbles at Fovius. Fovius looked dumbfounded at Shota's action. He is about to jump at him, then he heard him shout, "Twin impact comet!" All the small pebbles started hitting him at every direction, giving him no time to dodge or the attack. Shota. Halkert, take the boy out. Fovius. The creature appeared again right above Shota while Shota were continued harassing Fovius with his attacks. Foolish child, Hellcurt thought he didn't notice him, but two figure came out of the ground and hitting him with a roundhouse kick, sending Hellcurt flying to a tree again. Shota, you alright, Monoma? Yup, so Todoroki theory were right, he can dig underground like power loader, Shota. And it is pretty convenient, Monoma. Tisich, don't get ahead of yourself. Phoveus shouted as he slams his weapon to the ground and creating a shockwave on the, causing Shota to lose his focus on him, creating an opening for Phoveus to escape. Oh no, you don't. Kaibara emerged from the ground attempting to stop him, but a spear hit him and impaling him to a tree, causing him to get stunned. On the other hand, his teammates were terrified by this, they thought he was dead. He won't die, we guardians can choose for who will die by our attack. A man with a large open wound across his torso and a lot of stitches, and his right had a dark metallic gauntlet, and he is carrying another spear on his other hand. Diamen, that hurts, Kaibara said, recovering from getting stunned and impaled on the tree. You alright, Kaibara? Shoto asked him weakly, still recovering from getting slammed from a metal ball. Yeah, but it seems we have a bigger right now, Kaibara. Don't worry, this is only the beginning of your hellish training, Hellcurt. Now show what you got, you little roaches, Phoveus shouted as he continued appearing and disappearing while trying to slam his weapon at them. Get back! Shoto shouted as he placed his right hand on the ground and creating a few ice spike. That was useless. Phoveus shouted as he slammed his weapon to Todoroki a few times before throwing him back to his teammates. Shoto! Ram shouted as she rushed to Shoto. Get back, I'll deal with them, Kaibara. Protect from that creature, you can take him down by surprise while you three stay focused on getting back to the others or finding Midoriya's group. I'll stall them as long as I can, Shoto told them as he stands up again and activating his quirk. Dumbass, we take them down, you know, Monoma shouted at him with concern. No, you're wrong, Shiozaki is not the who knows the legends of this guardians. This three here are known as Abyss class guardians. They are believed to be formed from people negative emotions, and Phoveus is one of the most feared guardians back then. He is known as the Punisher. No one can no one can escape from his sight, and his main targets are high-level criminals. Once he found them, he would kill them immediately. Even till now, Shoto. I suggest you listen to your leader here, little roaches, Phoveus told them. We can't convince you, don't we, Ram? Yup, Shoto answered her bluntly. Ha, well, just be prepared to get an earful from Kyoka, Ram. I know now, run, Shoto shouted as he uses his flames to block the vision of the Abyssal Guardians. I hope this works, Monoma thought as took a glance at Shoto, trying to buy them some time before going underground again while the three continued running. Kaibara, regroup with Monoma, we need to execute the right away. That four-legged guardian is chasing us, Ram. Kaibara just nodded her before going underground again while Shota was collecting pebbles again. Shota, I'll keep him at bay, just stick to the plan, Ram said before started to jump from tree to tree and going behind Shota, leaving him all alone. Man up, Shota, you do this, they trust you to this. Shoto's fighting alone with the other two guardians shows Shoto shooting his flames at the spearman, but he dodges it easily while Phoveus hits him with his weapon, causing Shoto to almost consciousness, but he bit his tongue to keep him awake before releasing another wave of flames at them while Ram is trying her hardest to buy me some time. Shows Ram fighting with Hellcurt using her Morning Star while Hellcurt just dodge it or block it with his blade while grinning like crazy while Monoma and Kaibara are trying to locate the other two guardians. Shows Monoma and Kaibara fighting a knight that seems to be depressed and a man with a giant hammer. Puny little heroes, said the man with a hammer. Shota, it's all up to you now, Kaibara thought. Be brave now, Shota, be a hero now. Found you. The four-legged guardian shouted behind him. Inhales and exhales. Shota then uses his right hand to throw some of his small pebbles from his hand, then with the same hand he points at the sky. Twin impact bullet shower. A series of pebbles attack Hellcurt continuously while Shota started to run away again, but he keeps throwing pebbles in the air to attack Hellcurt while some of it to locate one of the Midoriya's group. He thought he was already safe, but a giant spear hit him, causing him to collapse. Nice shot there, Moskov, Phoveus said as he dropped Shoto and Ram on the ground. Shoto were terrified by this. Is this the last one? Asked the depressed man who's now riding on a horse while Kaibara and Monoma were knockout too. Leomord, you be sturdy, shouted the man with a giant shouted to the depressed man who is now known as Leomord. What is it, Terizla? Leomord. You left me behind, you stupid undead, Terizla told him with anger in his voice. Well, it's not my fault that you're a slow one, Leomord told him bluntly. Why you? He is about to punch him, but Hellcurt stopped him. Enough. We got more important things to do now, Hellcurt. Groans, what had happened? Shoto thought as he slowly gains his consciousness, and he saw Ram beside him, and he also showed a shaking in fear but kept throwing small pebbles behind him. No, no. No, stand up, Shoto, protect them. Shoto slowly stands up. The other guardians were quite surprised by this because no one manages to stand up again after taking a beating from Phoveus. Well, you're quite a persistent roach. Well, it doesn't matter, I'll just knock you out again, Phoveus said as he tried to knock him out again, but he saw him smirked. You're late. Cellophane, he said in a weak voice. They looked behind them, but Zero already got past them. Sorry, got caught in a moment, Zero said as he swings to another tree picking Kaibara Monoma and Ram while another white blur appeared right next to Shoda. I told you I was right, Ailda said while doing his chopping movement. Run, save them, Ingenium. Cellophane, save my teammates, Shoto said, surprising his two classmates as well. Shoda. But you took too much damage, Shoto. I'll handle them while you go back to the rest, Zero said. And I can take them now on my own, he said as he raised his left hand. What makes you say that, boy? Phoveus asked while wondering what he is planning because no one can defeat to the one who stands at the top. Then the heat around them slowly rises. Answer my call, battle Exir Rita. He shouted. The people around were now looking dumbfounded except Phoveus. Shoto, what we're saying, did he hit your head that hard that you were now going? Zero asked, but suddenly cut off by a flying axe and coming directly to Shoto's hand. Crazy, Zero continued. That axe, he owned it, Phoveus pointed out. Yes, a Skeiner owns this, Phoveus, Shoto said while he looked at the axe with a smile. Flashback. Not now, Shoto thought before dropping on the ground. Haha, he got you there real good, my grandson. Shoto woke up. He looked around his surroundings and saw a really built old man. Wait, grandson? Shoto asked the old man. Why, yes, my boy, my name is Escaner and you are my grandson, Escaner. Where am I? Shoto. Your own mindscape, my boy, Escaner. That makes sense. Kinda Sue, why I'm here, or rather why were you here, Shoto? To awaken your quirk, of course, Escaner. Your fireside is not just any ordinary fire, its true name is called Sunshine, he continued. Okay, how will able to awaken it, Shoto? Easy, I just need to transfer my memories to you, that's all, Escaner. Because I know the prophecy about your friends and you will also take a big part of it, he said as he placed his hand on the top is his head. Once the transfer is complete you will wake up and also say my greeting to Phoveus, please. Shoto just nod at him while Escaner proceed to transfer his memorize. Flashback and now run, take them, this would be over soon, Shoto said with confidence. Zero and Shoto were about to argue with him again. Ida stopped them saying that we better save the injured first and trust Shoto about this. They immediately run off while still worried about Shoto. Without wasting any second, Phoveus slams his weapon on the ground creating a shockwave, but Shoto just countered it by also hitting the axe on the ground, causing the ground to be destroyed while fires were coming out of the cracks, knocking Hellcurt out. Terizla Moskov and Leomord rushed to him while Phoveus appeared above him, but Shoto disappeared and appeared again above Phoveus with a tiny sun on his hand. You can't defeat the one who controls the sun. He then throws the sun at causing for it to explode, leaving a giant crater and burn trees around while the guardians were unconscious while Shoto were standing in the middle of it smiling at his work. A good fight, he said before passing out while standing and still holding Rita. Narrator's POV. Bakugo's team were now walking through the forest while Kuwaro was blending in the shadows. Everything seemed peaceful until Bakugo stopped them and said, Shitty hair glue guy, stay alert, someone's watching us, Bakugo. He alerted the rest of his team while Kuwaro looked for any guardians. Well, looks like someone here is a decent leader, Ling said as he hid from tree to tree. Giggles, I didn't know that Pomeranian can be this smart, Wan teased Katsuki. As well, calm at this kind of situation, a man with a lance and in gray knight armor appeared. And he seems to trust his comrades really well, Bashya said as he looked at Kirishima. So what's the plan, Captain Rin asked Bakugo. Protect me and Shitty Hair gives support. When we're in danger we'll take the front lines, and when you're in danger count on us, we will protect you, he said as he popped mini explosions. Trust your safety with me, cause I shall protect you in the of Red Riot, Kirishima said before hardening his body. And for you villains shall fear my anger. Bakugo shouted as he and Kirishima rushed to them but only got countered by Bashya and his dartboards. You seem to trust your friend here really big that you didn't even signal him when attacked, Bashya. He is not my friend, old man, he said as he unleashed a series of explosions at him while Kirishima blocked the attacks coming from the man with the lance and Wanwan. If he is not your friend, then what he is to you? Basha asked before throwing one of his dartboards. He is my Moda Iyu brother, he answered before backing away from him to save Bondo from Ling, who tried to attack him from behind. We might not be related to each other, Kirishima said after he threw Wanwan to Basha. But our bond as brothers is what makes us a family, says Bakugo as he aimed his AP shot at Basha. Along with the others, we swore to protect those who are in need, they both said as they knocked out the man with a lance. Zilong! Wanwan shouted as she saw he was knocked out by the two. Gacha Kurwaro dragged her and brought her to the deepest part of the forest while Bondo and Rin made their pursuit for her. Your fighter is out and your marksman is missing. What are you going to do now, old man? Bakugo. Ling chased them. I'll handle them. Basha raised his weapon in a defensive style while a lava-like substance came out from it while he started to jump from tree to tree chasing the others. Oh no, you don't. Bakugo launched himself up in the air shooting AP shot at Ling while Kirishima and Basha started their one-on-one. Come on, hit him. Bakugo so promised to protect them. Then do it, you stupid BSG. Bakugo desperately tried to shoot Ling but he just simply dodged it. Then use my power knife? A man spoke in his head, then suddenly yellowish tendrils came out of his wrist. Your quirk and my black whip merge into one. It means that, but he was cut off by Bakugo saying, this thing explodes at my command, he said while grinning. Yes, and my quirk is perfect for you because the more you're angry it will become easier to control, the man in his head said. Then let's go beyond, Bakugo said as another set of tendrils came out of his other hand, grabbing Basha and raising him in the air along with Ling. While Wanwan tried to save them, but she was met by another set of tendrils. Plus Ultrarea. He slammed them on the ground and released an explosion on the tendrils, knocking them out upon contact with the ground while Bakugo was still in the air without using his explosion. He noticed it and began to talk to the man in his head, but this time a woman answered it and told him that it is her quirk, Float, while his teammates were amazed by the sight of Bakugo's new quirks. Then they saw him starting to fall down very fast. Kirishima was the one who reacted first. He jumped to a tree and caught him mid-air and landed safely on the ground. They saw him knocked out due to exhaustion, but he muttered something which caused his teammates to cheer. Good work, extras. Momo's POV. Momo, not to be rude, but do you have any idea where we are going? Kendo asked. Yeah, she got a point there, Shiozaki added. I don't. But I think we're going the right way, Momo replied. How can you be so sure, Yaoyorozu? Tokoyami questioned. Because I can feel their power, the power of those guardians emit. Along with their aura, I said to them. What do you mean by that, Yaoyorozu? Tetsu asked. Have you ever heard of the Scarlet family? I inquired. Yes, they are pretty famous because of their quirks and how strong they are, but after their only daughter ran away, the Scarlet family were found dead in their home as soon as they broadcast about their missing daughter, Tokoyami explained. Yes, but their daughter was never found and presumed dead since they never found her for the last few years, which is, I think, not a reasonable answer to stop the search and tell the public that they think she is already dead, Kendo responded. But why did you ask us about this? Shiozaki questioned. Because the Yaoyorozu family is part of that missing bloodline, and the Scarlet family has the ability to feel the presence of our enemy and see their aura, I stated. Well, that is a fact, young miss, a woman said from the front of them, who was wearing a kimono and holding a paper umbrella. I can sense Urza's spirit from you, but why though? She died after giving birth to your mother, but your mother doesn't have the same spirit as you or Urza, she asked, while Momo and her team took their battle stance. Who are you? I asked her. Oh yeah, I forgot to introduce myself, silly me. Well, my name is Kagura, and I'm a spiritualist, which means that I can call spirits, command them, and talk to them. Also, under this umbrella, there are hundreds of monsters living in it, she said. Dark Shadow, restrain her, Tokoyami commanded. Dark Shadow managed to grab her, but she just phased through Dark Shadow's grip, leaving her umbrella behind. Oh yeah, I have a strong crowd control skill and can remove any CC that you use on me, she said as her umbrella rushed through us but only stopped in the middle of us. We were confused, but then she suddenly shouted, Shogo Mogio, and 5 lights came out of the umbrella and started pulling us. We tried to break free from this, but she instantly teleported into her umbrella, causing us to get stunned. Then a giant chakram came flying towards me, but instead of getting cut in half, it turned into a flower, causing me to be immobilized. I heard another female voice shout, "Higanbana." My consciousness faded, and the flower disappeared, but it spread to my other teammates, causing them to get immobilized too. I couldn't think of anything. I tried to create a staff, but a shadow dragged me into the deepest part of the forest. I could hear them calling my name. I tried to break free, but it was pointless. Then the shadow dropped me on the ground, and it started to take shape. It was a male this time. "I'll give a deal. I'll let you leave here. No one will harm you in this training, but you'll have to let your teammates suffer, or you can continue, but you'll have to fight us." As soon as he said that, two more appeared. One was a panda wearing a samurai suit with a frog on his shoulder fanning itself, and the other was a man in very casual clothes who seemed to be wearing what teachers wear, holding a broadsword with a mouth on the sharp side of the blade, and it had multiple eyes. "Heya, you sneaky bastard. What do you think Kagura-chan will say about this? You just dragged their class beauty," the panda said. "Ah, the destined ninja who is supposed to be the traitor of his clan dragged a beauty in the middle of the jungle," the other said. "Akai Hanzo, please focus, and I don't have a dirty plan for Miss Scarlet here." When he said that, the two turned to me with shocked faces and asked me if this was true. I just nodded at them, and then they were silent. Heya asked me what my choice was. I said to him, "I'd rather die than abandon my comrades," I said before creating a sword and started blocking their attacks. Every time my blade broke, I just created another one immediately, and this time it was much faster than normal. It seemed that I wasn't using any of my lipids, but this was no time to think about that. Then I realized the man with the sword was missing, but I spotted him behind a tree. Then he started to meditate. I tried to attack him, but something came out of him. It then started to attack, not giving me a chance to retaliate. They all rushed at me and attacked at once, but a person appeared in front of me. She had red hair and silver armor. "Are you all right, my brave successor?" she asked. I answered her with a yes. Then I looked at her and suddenly recognized her. She was my grandma, the one who ran away from the Scarlet family, Urza Scarlet. "I know you have a lot of questions now, but we have to save your comrades," she said. Then they started to attack her, but she just deflected all of it. Then her armor began to glow and change. "Adamantine armor," she said as the light died down. She put the two of her shields together, creating a barrier around us. "Now we will talk. For some reason, my spirit was trapped inside of you. I thought I was cursed or that some quirk made my spirit be trapped inside of you, but I saw how you used my quirk, Requip. Then I realized that I wasn't cursed or trapped. I became your familiar, and my mission is to train you to wield my quirk." She looked at me. "You have the heart of a hero, but because of your insecurities, you couldn't see it. Now I want you to take this to heart. A strong person is not the one who doesn't cry. A strong person is the one who cries and sheds tears for a moment, then gets up and fights again," she said to me with a smile. Then I felt something inside. It was like I was surging with power, a burning power. Then Urza said to me, "That is one of my forms. Use it. Finish it in one blow. Defeat all 5 of them," she said. Flame Empress armor, then my hero suit changed into this. Surging will, then I swung my sword at 3 of them, causing a large explosion upon contact with Akai's armor and knocking them out. Then I looked at Urza. She just smiled at me and said, "If you're going to call yourself a leader, you have to set an example for your followers. Now go help your friends." She then turned into an orb and entered me. "Yeah, don't worry, Grandma. I will do that." Black armor, my armor changed into this and I started to fly back to my team. I saw them getting pushed back by the girl with the chakram, so I attacked her first. I knocked her out with a neck chop, then I rushed to Kagura and punched her in the gut. She dropped to her knees, and then I delivered an axe kick to her head, knocking her out. I looked at my teammates. They were shocked at how fast I defeated them. Then I deactivated my armor and returned to my normal hero suit. "Don't worry now, because we know." Ojiro POV. I was quite surprised when they assigned me as the leader. I mean, I'm just a normal guy with a normal tail. Quirk, I'm in the middle of my thought, then all of a sudden I sense a strong aura engulfing everything around us. You feel that, don't you? Kodai asked me. Yes, stay alert, they're right here, I said. We were looking for the Guardian, then all of a sudden Cho appeared right above us, then he slammed his fist on the causing for us to get airborne, then he delivered a powerful roundhouse kick, and I flew for a quite distance, then he followed me midair, then he continued to kick before he axe kicked me and sent me right straight on the ground. Your quirk is quite troublesome and you're using martial arts to fight. You're a threat to my team, especially for Selena, Cho said. What do you mean my quirk is not that fancy? The rest of my team have more than a potential threat against them? Don't look down on yourself, Tailman. You see, my role when we're fighting is a fighter role like yours, but most of the time I take the role of a tank because of my strong CC skills along with my CC immunity. But you know what makes me a threat in a match? Cho asked. What? Because I can use 3 roles in a single match. I have the skills of a fighter, the durability and CC skill of a tank, and I can fight like an assassin where I can defeat my targets in an instant by ambush. But since this is only training for you all, I'll go easy on you, so I want you to give it your all, Cho said as he took a Bruce Lee stance. Then we began our epic fight. Kodai POV. I was about to help Ojiro, but a neon projectile blocked my way, but something is written on it, STN. Then another attack came towards me, but this time it was more like an abyssal demon. 1 down, 4 to go, Selena said. Calm down, Selena, Brody said. Boo. Let me have some fun, Brody. While they were talking, me and Pony took the opportunity to attack them. Pony used her horns while I threw some pebbles and used my quirk to make them bigger. Brody used his power to deflect the horns while Shishida used his quirk to attack them head-on, but Brody elbowed him in the neck, causing Shishida to get stunned. Kamakiri was already knocked out by Selena while Ojiro was still nowhere to be found. Okay, I take it back. They're pretty weak. I can't have some fun with them, Selena said. Let's finish this, Selena, Brody said. Brody used his ultimate attack all of us at once. Shishida tried to protect us, but Selena changed her form into an abyssal demon and in an instant she knocked him out. Here goes nothing, I thought. Torn apart memory, Brody shouted. Minoan's rage, Kodai. I shouted. Then a figure of a minotaur appeared and covered me and the rest of my team. Do you know the true purpose of our titles? I asked them, but they just looked at me. Our title we hold is not just a simple name, it is who we are. This title allows us to borrow powers from the Guardians, and now, I'm angry. I may not be able to express my emotions, but I can show it to you with my quirk and power, cause I'm the misfit of emotions. Narrator's POV. Kodai used her quirk again, but instead of making things bigger it shrank while using her power to heal Pony and the rest. Now this is fun, Selena said as she shot an abyssal arrow straight at her, but her minotaur deflected it. Then Kodai threw a pebble on her, and right before the impact came she activated her quirk again, but this time it grew into a boulder. It was about to hit Selena, but Brody managed to destroy the boulder, but Kodai didn't give them a chance to move as she used her minotaur to attack using its hammer. Brody tried to deflect it, but it was no effect. They both thought they were gonna lose when Cho teleported right in front of the hammer and punched, causing Kodai's minotaur to shatter and disappear. Selena and Brody felt relieved, but as they saw Cho's current condition they got worried. Cho's HP bar was only 10% left. Just as I thought, Tailman is truly a threat in this game, Cho said. What happened? Selena asked him with a worried tone about her crush. For some reason, while we were in the middle of our fight, I had him overpowered and put him down, but suddenly a familiar presence emitted from him, and his left eye was glowing bright yellow while leaving a light trail as he moved, and even the tip of his tail was the same. Then he began to beat me, and the weird part is that my martial arts technique, he managed to copy it, or more like he stole it from me. Selena was about to say something, but Ojiro appeared above them and used his tail to smash the ground, causing the Guardians to get airborne. Way of the Dragon, he delivered a roundhouse kick at Brody, then followed by a barrage of kicks while midair. Then he used his tail to hit him really hard that Brody went to the ground really fast and got knocked out. Then he appeared behind Selena and delivered a continuous attack of punches and kicks, knocking her out. He then went to Cho, but before he attacked he said, "Art of Thievery." Mimic Cho's eyes widened as he heard this. Why? Because there are only 2 Guardians that he knows that can use this. The Monkey King's son and the Thief Claude. Grand move punch, Ojiro said as he punched Cho in the guts, sending him up in the air. Then he jumped and got above him and smashed him with his tail, sending Cho straight to the ground, knocked out. That was fun, Cho, you are strong, he said after he landed and passed out. He can also use them, that means he also has a title, Kodai thought before summoning a figure of Estes and heals them. The Misfit of Honor, Masahiro Ojiro. Meanwhile with Midoriya. You know I can feel your presence, he said. No one answered him. Show yourself or I will burn you. Then a male figure appeared out of the shadows and said, Oh come on my dear successor, that's not how you speak to your ancestor. A man came out of the shadows, but what surprised me the most is that he looked like the same age as me. He has sky blue hair and is wearing a cat-eared hoodie and headphones. Oh come on my dear successor, that's not how you speak to your ancestor. Ancestor? What does he mean? What do you mean? I said with a threatening tone in my voice. I mean, I'm your ancestor, so you should better give me some respect, he said while smiling at me. Okay, if you're really my ancestor, then how are you alive, and what are your motives to be here? I'm not alive, I died during my fight with AFO, and my reason to be here is that I'm here to train you. So you're telling me that you are dead but standing right in front of me, and how are you going to train me? I asked him, but he just sighed, then put on his headphones. I thought he was going to leave, but suddenly he spoke. You know you shouldn't trust strangers, right? He gave me a smile, then suddenly disappeared, leaving only a plushy version of him on the ground. Deej, now what? Then I suddenly changed into my swamp form. A bluish goo started to cover my body. Show yourself, I shouted while releasing 3 tiny glue to look for him. The swamp spirits, glue, quite a good choice my successor, but, he said. Then suddenly he shot out a fire projectile at me. As I took a good look at him, my eyes widened. He is wearing the Faraga armor, the armor of one of the strongest guardians, X.Borg. He is a feared guardian during the pre-Quirk era. Why? Because known as an arsonist, he can take down a city by using his ultimate move called Last Insanity, where he would spin at high speed for 5 seconds while spraying high-degree flames which are hotter than Endeavor's quirk. Then he would make himself explode. How? That armor is from a guardian. How did you take it? I asked him. You mean X.Borg? Yes, this is his armor and I didn't take it, I simply borrowed it. My dear successor, you still have so much to learn about my power, he said with a serious tone. Your power? I asked him. Your quirk to be exact, but I will tell you all about it once you defeat me, he said as he sprayed flames. I blocked it with my arms, but that was my worst mistake as 5 pillars came down behind me and started to rush towards me. I tried to avoid it, but it was too fast. The pillars rushed toward him, then he punched me in the face, causing me to fly and return to my normal form. You rely too much on your forms, my successor, he said. How can you stop him if you're weak? How are you going to protect your family? How can you prove to your parents that they didn't die in vain to protect you? Can you keep your promise to Eri? Are you a one-trick pony or are you a hero? Answer me, Midoriya, what is your dream? He shouted. Then out of instinct, I touched the book that Valor gave me. All of the Guardians' names and abilities came surging into me, their powers, their capabilities, all of it, even their stories. Then suddenly I remembered what Mom and Dad told me when I got my quirk. Son, being a hero is not all about money or fame. Heroes help those who are in need no matter who they are, no matter where they are, or even how impossible it seems. Heroes will come and save them. So I want you to remember this. Smile no matter how hard it seems, no matter how impossible it is. Just smile and let your dream and will take over your body. I, Midoriya, have a dream. I shouted as a surge came rushing towards my body and a burning feeling covered my whole body. Break my limits, Fusion's high damage input. I am the shield of the people, Tigreal's durability. My blood boils until the day I die, Bauman's lifesteal. Then a katana appeared behind me. That's right, my dear successor, unleash it. With your strong willpower and with your dream you will manage to use my power at full limits. Last Insanity. He started to spin while spraying fire everywhere. Good thing I managed to use one of the Guardian's ultimate abilities, real-world manipulation from Ive, and used it to create a small dimensional cage for the two of us. The final explosion was released. I saw him breathing in the middle of the crater that he created. Then I saw it as the perfect time to attack him. Shadow kill. I turned into a shadow, then I started to slash him in every direction while I merged with shadows, leaping and striking him again and again until he collapsed. I saw him unconscious on the ground. I smiled, but before I could get to him I felt dizzy and my vision went blurry. I was about to fall over, but in a blink of an eye, he managed to catch me looking fine. Good work, my successor, you can rest now. Who are you? I asked him, hoping that he answered me. People would call me a monster, a trash, a disgrace, and a demon, but what I like the most is that the Ancient One. Wait, he is over 200 years old. Who is this friend he is talking about? He questioned himself until it hit him who he was talking about. All for one, he said. In an inhabitable island near the Philippines, flames and smoke were covering the whole island. The Philippine Navy was trying to extinguish the flames with their quirks, but suddenly a man wearing a tuxedo with a metal plating around its neck and his whole body made up of mist appeared. Sorry everybody, but Ancestor is pretty busy at the moment, so please let the Nomus entertain you all, he said as he began to expand a multiple bioengineered humans that came out of it and started their rampage. But suddenly a yin-yang pattern circle appeared below the Philippine Navy troops and suddenly disappeared along with the troops. X.Borg. Ancient One shouted, then suddenly X.Borg was sent flying in the air, but luckily Ancient One saved him on time. Return to the Land of Dawn and take Lapu-Lapu and Paquito with you. You need to train the Fated Ones. I'll hold him off here. But even before X.Borg could answer, he teleported him to the other two mentioned guardians. So you were still alive, old friend? He said as another man wearing a tuxedo with a broken face came out of the roaring flames and smoke. Ancient One, I didn't expect you to be here. Well, since you are here, we can finally end our battle. Our battle ended 200 years ago, he retorted. Then a rematch it is. As his right arm glowed black with red streaks. Took you long enough, huh? Then AFO rushed at him with such great speed. Time to clean up, Ancient One said as he summoned a heavy greatsword with a clock embedded within it. The greatsword glowed and became larger. Then he swung the greatsword, clashing it with AFO's fist. This time for sure I would kill you all for one / Ancient One. I can do this all day, Ancient One said as he bumped his fist together, creating a force field around him. But can you keep up? AFO replied before multiple warp gates appeared around Ancient One. At first, he thought something would come out of it, but instead he was getting SCKD towards the warp gates, restricting his moves. What the hell, Ancient One said before he clapped his hands together, creating a strong shockwave, causing AFO to lose focus on his warps. Bind, Ancient One said, then suddenly multiple chains came out of the ground, wrapping around AFO's limbs. Jolt. Then a burst of lightning struck AFO multiple times. Burst, AFO's arms exploded. Unlike last time, I finally managed to star my quirk, Ancient One stated as he started doing some stretches. Then suddenly multiple black tendrils with red streaks came rushing toward him. Ancient One managed to dodge it, then he saw AFO with complete limbs now. I must say I got surprised, he said as he reeled his arms back. But that was useless. He then punched the air, but nothing happened. Ancient One knew that move too well. Big bro, he whispered before a large wound appeared on his shoulder, causing him to lose his arms. That's right, his quirk, AFO said with a hint of sadness in his voice as he looked at Ancient One's current state. Ancient One looked at him with pure hatred. Then a reddish and orange highlights aura started to irradiate from him, a fiery aura. All for one, he said with noticeable hatred in his voice. Then suddenly additional 2 arms came out of his sides under his original arms. I will take what's rightfully his. Then he bumped his upper arms together, and weird markings appeared on his arms. Akuma. The entire island was suddenly covered by a ball of flame. Interesting, AFO said with fascination. This would be our final battle, Ancient One said. Is that so? AFO replied as he looked at Ancient One with a rather odd relieved smile. I want you to fight me at the fullest, Ancient One said. You really did grow up, little Kai, AFO thought. Are you seeing this? Brothers? God hand, AFO said calmly as gigantic hands and small ones too appeared around him. We shall end this now. Brother, he said as the small hands started shooting light beams out of their palms while the giant ones were disappearing and reappearing to him. This would give them enough time, Ancient One thought. I'll wait for the good news on the other side. Fated ones. Suddenly Ancient One was now covered in blue fire. Then boom, he suddenly launched himself at AFO without caring about the god hand. The beams were hitting him, but he ignored the pain he was receiving. AFO tried to protect himself with the giant ones, but Pandora's box. A chain with a purple aura coming out of it shot right through Ancient One's heart. Meanwhile, his right hand penetrated right through AFO's chest while his index finger was only touching the surface of AFO's heart. Transfer, a surge of light came out of their chests as AFO's god hands were starting to disappear. Ancient One's chains were also starting to fade away, then a force blew them away from each other. As AFO started to stand up, he noticed that he couldn't use his god hand's quirk, but what surprised him the most was that he had a chain in his torso where his heart was located. Then a sudden realization hit him. Ki! He shouted as he looked at Ancient One. He saw him standing up with floating hands around him with a beating heart in his left hand and a very noticeable hole where his heart was located. Pandora's box. Intertwined fate, he said with a smile. A ability I created while I was stuck in my own mindscape. It was supposed to be my last resort to kill you, but after I saw his quirk, I knew I had to use it. He looked at AFO. That ability is a curse type. You can't get out of this ball of flame I created. No one can enter and no one can get out. Unless the prisoner dies, and that is me. This was supposed to lock us up in my own mindscape, but with you having the god hands, I can't let them fight you. So I took Big Bro Jack's quirk, he said as he slowly struggled to stand up straight. Meanwhile, Foe was fighting himself to come over to him with such a worried face. And oh please don't, please it's not what I think it is, he thought. But that comes with a price. So I exchanged our hearts for it. Now you have to kill yourself to get out of this, and I know that this is the last chance for you to use that quirk. He then paused and tears slowly started to form around his eyes. Now big bro, when this is all over, would you like a cup of tea? He asked before he collapsed, but before he completely fell on his back, AFO suddenly caught him and brought him into a hug, a genuine loving hug. Shoo, now little Kai, he said as he tapped his back and fought the urge to cry. Big bro, Ancient One said with a weak voice. Yes? AFO said as tears started to fall from his eyes. Was I a good boy back then? You were the greatest little brother we could ever ask for, AFO answered back with a calming yet caring tone. I'm glad you were my big brothers, he said with a smile as he slowly closed his eyes. Would you like tea? But he received no response. Kai? Still no response. I just wish that you would have tea with me for the last time, AFO said as he started to mourn for his dead brother.